Hello. Say welcome back. Currently, I'm still setting up some of my stuff for the stream, but I will be with you shortly. Okay, yeah, that was just my mic falling. I hope it didn't cause too much noise. Hello. Today is day 25 of the 100 days of game development. That means I am 1/4 of the way done with developing this game, or so I would say. Today, my goal is to implement that new level that I've made, or that I've made a couple. I have them pulled up over here, and I what I remember from last time was that I was making all of these levels, and it sprung me some new ideas, such as optimizing the way that I read my JSON files, because it would take a very long time if I had to go one by one and enter in all the data for each of the tiles. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my JSON reader my JSON parser a recursive function, so that it'll, as long as there are other JSON files to read, it'll read all of those in first and then start placing the other tiles. Already off screen, I've gone ahead and I've entered in the data for this basic level right here, or just the outside walls and this wall right here, because that is the thing that is consistent between all of the levels, and everything else in the levels change. The crates and the players all move to different locations. So before I start doing any coding, I'm gonna go ahead and play my game. That is how I like to start off every session of game development, typically. Just by sitting there and playing my game. I'm gonna also turn my volume up too, because I have some sounds, and it just makes it that much more entertaining. Okay, so I'm starting the game. Alright. I'm bored. Oh, look at this. Look at this menu. I could restart the stage because I messed up. And I still no level select and no options yet, but I can go back to the main menu partially. It still doesn't show up with the title screen itself, but that button's there, so I can restart the game again. No quests aren't really doing anything yet, and I can go back to playing the game if I get bored and I want to pause the game or something. So I know that that's where I am at right now. Let me show you guys a little bit of what I did just off screen on entering the data for these new levels. So home. Oh yeah, gonna navigate all the way to it. Not Digibeam projects, but Godot. And it's in C#, and here, and here, and in my prefabs. Let me go ahead and open this folder up. Alright, I'll go ahead and maximize that. This whole thing right here, I wanted to avoid having you guys watch me enter in all the information, and rather I just want to skip to the good parts where we actually go and see if this level will load. So if I enter the information correctly, or even better, yeah, I guess once this level loads, I know it's loading correctly, I can then go ahead and see if I can get another level to inherit this base level, and then it'll just be adding all the important parts to that level. So what I'll do in my world, I'll change what level I go to immediately. It's called level. It has a special number. You're right, or it has words, and I'm not using those words. So I may have to do this. I won't do it manually. I'm too lazy for that. Instead, I'll actually change the order in which I'm doing things. I'll make the recursiveness of my JSON parser and then see if this level loads. So I can call this level 2. Give it a name. 02. Save. Oh, yeah, to make sure it's the right format as the rest of them. It needs to be .json also, so it recognizes it as a JSON file. Rename .json. There, easy. Alright, so all this file is going to contain is another JSON level, so I'll call it base. Base level, base works fine, and base contains the file path for another JSON file, so we'll call that JSON, or I could call it level, and then pass in the path for the other JSON file. And I'm going to use the absolute path of this, which is going to look something like this right here. It won't be exactly this one, but this will get me started. Res prefab level, and in there I can type in level base 001.json. Perfect. There. So using that, I should be able to read this JSON file, see that it has a base JSON file inside of it, and then see that it contains a level that contains the file path to read another JSON file, which will be this level 1 base, and it'll actually add all of these as nodes to the grid. I do want to make sure that I have the file path correct. That's for sure. So prefab level 02. Yeah. Errors like that sometimes can be hard to detect and hard to debug, so I'm always second checking those. So level 2, we'll see what happens. Well, we won't see what happens when we do level 2. It'll actually do nothing right now because it doesn't know what base level is. But we will go back. We will change which level I load when we go to the next level, when we start the game in the grid. You check tile start, clear, go to level 2, just for testing. Cool. And now I can go back to the JSON parser. And I think it's only going to take 2 lines to figure out that this is a instance low level path, instance position 0, 0. Load file path. Yeah, I just make sure I place it in the right place, because the lines of code that I'm going to be running are going to look something similar to this right here. The tile, whatever tile it is, I'm going to check if it has name, another level to load, and if it does, then I need to add to my tile array, which I make up top. I need to say tile array dot append, and it's going to be create level from JSON, and the file path, which is going to be level JSON tile dot level. Oh, not dot level, but level. And then, yeah, there we go. Am I missing? I'm probably missing another one, aren't I? There we go. So, yep, if I have another level, append that level to this tile array and continue on adding any other things in the actual JSON. Now, append to instance. Yep, an instance is just going to be a map, or a tile array is a map. So I think this will work. And to check that it does, I'm gonna put this breakpoint down here and check what's inside the tile array after I try reading in another tile array. I just hope that I am doing it is right, that it's the correct thing to do it before I instance this. I'm just gonna create a new instance. Yeah, okay. Oh, I hit the breakpoint early? Yeah, because I'm loading in the first level, the main menu level. Continue. It's, okay, it did that a bunch of times. More times than I thought it was actually going to. But I can move. Let's go ahead and start. There, invalid get index path on dictionary. Ah, so because I haven't set up a path for this JSON, hey. Actually, no, man, why would it be mad? That doesn't exist. The path doesn't exist. I'm not. Stop it. Stop. Let's see, what did it get mad at? Let's see, maybe I should check if the path exists. There's a load tile path. Yep. So there's nothing for it to instance off of. That's interesting. I mean, that's kind of what I want in a way, but I think this should go above. And I should be checking if there is a path to load also. Well, if it doesn't, then I have a problem, don't I? Okay. Yeah. No, I'm kind of dug myself into a hole. I'll still write this anyway, but I need to figure out what I need to do if it doesn't find it. Tile.has. Let's go ahead and call, or I'll just make the instance above here. Yep, and then we can get rid of that right there. And we'll say instance equals there. So now I should have a null. I hope that I can just append a null and nothing will happen. But we'll try this again. It's gonna continue like it did before a bajillion times. More times than I thought it was going to. Yeah. Alright. Boom. Hit the breakpoint. Ah, so I have a tile array that's 0, but I have this level JSON with about 60 different tiles, and it goes from tile, say page 0. So there are 16 here. I know there are. I just can't access them all. New key. It's like there are just way too many in here. Base level 1 dictionary. open up that dictionary, or I guess it did. There, there are pages. That's what it did. It said which is pretty smart to load it in pages. 40. Total of 60. Tile 60. I think I had more, honestly. I'm pretty sure I had more than 60. Or there might be less. For the base level, there were a total of 60. Okay. So that's exactly all of them. Now we'll see if anything breaks further down the line, because that's where I expected things to break, but I'm ready to continue. And let's see what the level looks like, or if nothing happened. It froze on me. Oh, and here we go. Invalid get index on offset. Interesting, because I didn't say that it had an offset base. Let's rerun that. There, now without the breakpoint, so I can see where it breaks. Ah, right here. So there is no offset for this instance because it's not a tile. It's not a pawn. Which, let's see, which does and doesn't make sense. I can, I think, I say, how would I handle that? Well, it would expect it to be a pawn in the first place. At the least, it would expect it to be a pawn, this instance to be a pawn. So I'll actually load in a pawn. Res, absolutely, and it's not art, but it is prefab. Or I'll just type in the whole thing one by one, and it's going to be prefab. Yep. See, there isn't. It's going to be prefab script actually, because there is no such thing scene-wise as a pawn, but script, not oxygen, but pawn. But the game froze. And now we're back. Pawn. I want to make sure that I'm saying that right. I'm going to do it over. Res script pawn. Yeah. At the least, it's going to be a pawn. And I think all pawns have an offset, whether they want one or not. There we go. So then when it tries to set an offset, I just won't be using that offset, which is probably a good thing. Invalid get index on base offset. No, it exists, I swear. Another solution is to just skip that entirely, which I think is going to be the best solution. I'm going to check if it's a level, do all the level stuff. Else, let's see, do the rest of this stuff. There. Recursiveness. And it'll stop when there's nothing left to read. Oh, that was me. I hit this button over here. Yeah, invalid get index on pawn. You can't add it Why not? Because they don't have a grid position? Very odd. So this object here most definitely has a grid position, but you can't access it. Ah, I see. I see why you can't access it. Because I have this array, which contains, well, two things. It contains another array, or let me close up this one right here, so I'm not confused. It contains this array of 60 objects. Looks like I've duplicated my array of 60 objects for every tile in tiles, and I have one tile and that contains 60 objects. And another tile that contains nothing. It's a remote GD script, the pawn. Maybe it was not such a good idea to have the pawn, say to load it up default as a pawn. Let me go back. And so instead I'll get rid of that. And I think it also may have to do with me appending to a tile array when they should be joining together, honestly. This is just an array, I presume. Append, back, duplicate, like just put it at the back. So I push back, push front, pop back, pop front, printing. I will figure this out. I do really want to. Oh, I feel like this is a map, but I still want to append those things to the map. Every instance. But maybe up here I don't want to. I want to say tolerate equals. Instead of appending to this one, I'll say it equals. Now the problem with this means I can only be recursive once because I'm going to be writing over that initial blank tile array until I figure out a way to concat them. I'm gonna go look that up really quick. Can I concat two dictionaries? Concat two dictionaries. Python, which means Godot might have an answer for this. So, has a dictionary merge method? I don't think so either. Var, so I have a dictionary D and E. Merge directories, the target and the patch. For every key in the patch, key equals new patch. So it's a fairly simple for loop, which is nice. Destination and source dictionaries. Okay, so they have a dictionary that contains 1A, 1B, 1, and the source contains a culmination of numbers. I'll revisit that in a second. I think I'll be okay with the 1 for now if I'm doing one set of recursiveness. And then I just append that instance right on. So let's see what this returns. Okay. Grid position on base, no. That returns 61 objects. Did I hack an extra object? So tiles is an array of size 61. Nice. Oh. Opening that up. But it could not grab the first object. Interesting. I would like to know what makes tile null. Or maybe that 61st object is null. So here's what I'll do. I'll print out all of the tiles' names. So print. Loaded. Actually, this might break because it's a null one. I can check, say, if tile exists, if tile's not null. No, so now then if I do ever have any empty ones, it just won't. It shouldn't. I'll say that it shouldn't. Ah, there we go. Not really, see, I didn't really fix the bug, it's more I just hit it. I still have that null object, which I think I can go and check on my remote. Under the world, under the grid. They're all wall 1 and then 60. I'm kind of curious as to where that one empty object came from. Or, you know, I actually know where it comes from. I absolutely know where that comes from. So I made this empty object right here. It doesn't do anything. And what happens is when I do the first run of this, it'll make this empty object. It'll run through every tile for every tile in the level JSON. So that means that actually what I can do is if this, I need to put this for loop in here too. Yeah. Control V. Now, I'll correct all the indents for everything. I think in one fell swoop. Shift tab over everything. Yep, this gets tabbed over. It means these get tabbed over. So let's run through this. Wait, why are you mad? Tile is not declared in current scope. Ah. Never mind. That was a lie. Let's bring that for loop back up top. There. Loop through every tile in the level JSON that I've loaded. And then if it has a level, we'll load it. And then from there, I probably just need to return. Yay, it's been loaded. And yeah, and this one I can just return tile array. Early out. Boom. There, if it has a level, and then return the tile array. And say, does it mean I can? Yeah. I don't want to pin just yet. I might figure it out. I might figure out how to, or rather grab that merge function that they have for merging arrays. That might be useful. So I can merge my tile array with this new array that I'm creating with the create level from JSON. But return early, otherwise load the actual level. And let me check where this is at. This is under the whole for loop. The whole for loop? Yep. Because it needs to add each instance of that. Great. And then I return it. Cool. And that way I get rid of that null object. I don't have to check for null anymore because I'm exiting early if I do make a blank object. Oh, grid, not grid, but the world. There. Now let's load it. It should load nice and smoothly now. Even though there's no players or anything like that. I can't pause the game because there's no, I can't pause the game because there's no players on board. But yes, I have, now I can test the recursiveness of this by adding a player. Or adding both players. So like, this is done. I'm happy with this. And close that out. I can go to my actual level 2, add player 1 and player 2 in their respective places. Control C, Control V, boom. Yep. Make sure they're in the right position, and call it good. I have player 1 located at 4-6 and player 2 at 11-2. Alright, okay. So we're gonna load this back up, and if they show up, then, and I can move them both, like, that level's done. I've implemented a new level. Oh! I hit the top of this again. I can move it with my mouse button. All right. Nope, they're not in. Not just yet. What happened? Well, see. Let's check what happened. Well, I'm gonna check if I saved it first for one. Okay, so I did save it. Now I'm gonna check if they actually got in here. And I don't see them, which means I still have some work to do. Definitely. Because it should be going, or see, walking through the logic, I'll speak it out. So for every tile in the label JSON that we just loaded, yeah, it should have loaded those new guys. I'll put a breakpoint on tile append down here. And see if it actually grabs the players, because they should have been there. Okay, yep, this is the start of that level. Yep. I should see a total, when I go and load the level, of 62. Okay. I'm seeing a total size of 60, which I know is wrong. Which kind of bothers me. Which it kind of does and kind of doesn't bother me. I feel like it's because of the way I entered because of the way that I entered this situation in the first place. So what I said was, if I found a tile that has level, create that portion of the level, put it in tile array, and then return. Which is wrong. Because this will be an exit point for my recursive function, and it won't actually go down further, which is what I want it to do. I think I can actually get rid of this if statement, if I'm being honest. If I'm not being honest, I think the reason that I put it there. Well, I think I can get rid of this else statement, because it should skip all. The reason I did it was for this instance right here. If there was an offset on the things, so I gotta find a better way to handle if it has or it doesn't have offsets. I can put this level portion at the bottom. That wouldn't bother me at all, because then it'll check everything else. It'll see that the node that I'm on doesn't. Oh, well, no. Let's say, well, no, because it's still trying to put an offset on something that doesn't technically have an offset. And I was trying to create a pawn before, an empty pawn. What other things make that first tile unique, or rather? I can also check if the instance isn't null, which it wouldn't be. Do I just want to group these? Like, if it's gotten this far, I feel like okay, if the instance isn't null, you shouldn't be able to do any of this. But it's specifically this. It is specifically for these. So I'm assuming that there is an instance when there's not one. So I may just put an if statement right here, because I think it makes sense. If the instance actually exists, set the offset. I'm thinking maybe there are better ways to do this, but this is the best way I could think of. That way, if it has the level, it'll still skip the rest of this and then move on to the next tile. It'll pin it and just move on to the next tile. Breakpoint. Let's get rid of that breakpoint unless I see any other issues appear up. Okay, not broken just yet. Broken. I broke it because there's an empty pawn in here, which I had gotten rid of. At one point. Fragment data. Here, I'll put one of these. Probably not, man. There's probably something that I should be doing better. If this is null at the instance, like that just makes it so that nothing, like I'm not going to be able to add empty instances. They're going to go away. Like, okay, so there, I have both players on the board. And you win. Ah, yes. Okay, I'm gonna do that again. Yes. So that's level one level. That's one level down. My goal for today is done, and I got it done in 40 minutes. And I think I can add more levels much quicker this way. But what instead I'm gonna do, instead of quickly adding those levels, I'm gonna try to figure out how to do some sort of level select, or to be able to progress from one level to the next. So to know which level you need to move to next. Because I may want to reorder these later. Oh, sorry, someone just told me some fantastic news that the printer in school has a built-in stapler. Fun fact. And I'm gonna ask them about that later. That's interesting. I'm surprised it took so long for printers to get staplers. Okay, yeah. Transitioning from level 1 to level 2. That's definitely my next goal. And I think I can do something really quick inside of my grid, because in there I am winning the game, and I can just disable some things so that it just immediately goes to the next level until I figure out a much smoother transition between levels. So, player win, and you emit the signal that you won. There is winner. You clear the board. If not, let's rather. Oh, if we clear the board, emit the signal you won. Okay. So after I clear the board, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go to the next level. I'm going, and I may get rid of this. Signal. Go to the next level, and then I do have a current level, so I can say plus equals 1. Actually, that allows me to keep track of it. Unexpected assign. Yeah, it probably was. Control X. We're just gonna go to the next level. I should probably write a function for this to make sure that I'm not like overstepping any bounds on that. Bounds checking is amazing. Control C. I think that's what I'll do next. I think that's what I'll do next. I think I've already done it a bit inside of the go to level function. Then I call in the world. Yep, no, I'm just checking the bottom tier. I'm not checking above or anything like that. But yes. Level selects, go back to the grid. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna comment that out for now. And now I'm gonna switch this back to level 1. I'm gonna try to win that really quick and then go to level. It should immediately set me over to level 2 with both players inside. Happy. So level 1 loaded. Let's go ahead and rush through this one really quick. Okay. Okay. Oh. Yep, and it puts me right to the next level. And then this right here is just gonna break. It should absolutely break. My controller, is it broken? Nope. Okay. Oh yeah, I broke something. Absolutely. Unable to read JSON file. Probably because, yeah, level 3 JSON, because there's no level 3 JSON. I accidentally won the game. But I'm gonna check that again because I wasn't touching the player at all. So I see that I may also have to continue to check if there's additional players on the board. But I am gonna go to the player. I'm gonna change these to actions just pressed. See if it'll still let me just zip and zoom around. With the joy, not with the stick at least. Oh yeah, I switched it to events, didn't I? So for events, this doesn't exist. Yep. So let me undo all of that. Control Z. Sadness, sadness. Okay. Okay. I'll have to fix it later by changing it back over to a process. Maybe. Okay. Yeah, I've done my part. Will you do your part? Yeah. And we win. Okay. Now I'm just gonna be kind of sort of around this guy. Not exactly winning or anything. Okay, nothing crazy there. So I'm gonna put you there. I'm gonna start moving this guy. Okay, yeah, nothing out of the ordinary happens. You don't win automatically, like no matter where I'm at. But what if I switch them places? Just checking if there's any like hidden guys on the board. Okay, I was just moving fast. Boom, and it breaks because there's no guy there. Ah, and you know what I can do now? In the go to level, if it finds that level fails to load, so like if tiles fails to load, you win the game. You've gone through all of the levels, and I can have that happen that way. That would be pretty interesting. I may need to clear the board also, but this is kind of out of order. See, if tiles comes back, well, it wasn't there. I'm like, I'm not sending nulls back to myself. That's the problem. Man, I was like, oh yeah, I can just check tiles for null because it's going to be null. But actually, I think this just breaks. This just breaks if it can't read the level. I'm going to go back and check what function actually was doing the thing that was breaking. Winning the game. Winning the game. Okay. Here, non-existent function empty on level JSON. Yeah, because it could read it in. So wow, it returned a null, nothing. Wow, all these null checks I have to do. It's like if level JSON, if it exists. Yeah, I'll do if level. I'll do this one first. If level JSON, or if there's no level, if it does not exist, or it's empty, unable to read the file. No, debugger. What are you mad at? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me do it. let me. Oh man. Or you know what? Maybe there's a null value. There. I'll be more explicit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If it's null or it's empty, we failed to read it. And it should still pass us a null object, which then I can check. I can emit a signal and say you won the game, because winning the game. Unable to iterate, yes. So create level from JSON. Oh, okay, yeah. I tried to read it. There. Yay. My debugger is probably still going off on something. Or parse JSON. Use type of to check if it's what you expect. Parse JSON if type P is equal to. Okay. So I'll try that. Type of my thing equal to type array. Mine should be type dictionary, but type of label JSON does not equal type dictionary, or it's empty. Return, and then here, not here, but here, I can do it early out now. Say if. Now I guess I'll do the same thing. Of type of level JSON. It's not equal type dictionary. And then just return null. Cool. Okay. Yep, it's gonna return nothing. Great, great. And I'm gonna have to handle it in my world. If tiles returns nothing. Okay. No, I can just say if tiles. If the tiles exist, if there was something there, we're gonna tap that over. We're gonna do the thing. Else, we can emit a signal that you won. All of that. So global events.emit signal. You win. Okay, does this break, or will this allow me to be like, hey, we've gone through all the levels that I've put in. You win. Next level, let's go. Technically, yes, but I also have this debugger thing that I want to fix. Condition if true, return string. Oh, maybe file get its text returned returned an empty string. That's why I couldn't parse it. So on and so forth. What if I say var JSON data equals this. Control V. Look at that. And basically this same thing. Man, this is like all out of order. I just have way too many early outs. It's like if, or I can do it like this. If JSON data exists, do the rest of this. Oh yeah, then level JSON. Yep, Control Z. I'll just do an early out. Empty. I wonder if I can do call empty on a string. That would be amazing. String is valid, is empty. I don't see is empty. Ends with erase, ends with find, format. There's just no empty for it. Fine. Fine. I'll just use well, I guess what does get us text return? So I need to check what a file does. Oh, look, there's this, does the file exist to check. Should I be checking that before or after I open the file? I think that's after. Okay, yep, I'll just use if the file exists before I open it. Hey, let's skip all this shenanigans. File.file exists. If I can spell, which I don't think I can. Then open it. Or, wow, I can't do. See, file exists takes a JSON. It's gonna take the JSON. I was like, what am I doing? Is it a function by itself? There, so I don't have to do this anymore. I can put this back in file to get his text. We know the file exists. Control V. There, no more validating that. There, now I'm just validating if the file exists or not. If it doesn't exist, don't do any of this. There. And now I'll just put a warning, or else. So yeah, level JSON needs to exist outside of this. Control C. I'll return a blank level JSON for the funds. Yeah, else. And so there's two ways. Control C. There are two ways to not be able to read the JSON now. So if the file doesn't exist, or if there was nothing in that JSON, or it wasn't set up in a dictionary format. Unable to read JSON file, blah blah blah, print. JSON was in. There you go. Exists. I'm running over time. Yeah, I'm just having fun messing with JSON files apparently. JSON. Here. Put this. Cause I'm gonna test this after, and I think then I have to call it a night, and it's been a good night at that. Plus does not exist. There. Let's see what I get. I'm still getting myself a null object if it doesn't exist, which I'm checking in multiple places. So let's go ahead and see what kind of error messages I get, if any. Okay. There, unable to read JSON file, JSON 3 does not exist. Boom. And I do think I still emit the signal down here in the world. I do emit the signal you win, but nothing shows up. So what's going on there? Or yeah, what's going on in the UI? Let's go check it out. Yep. On you win, we're gonna do on you win.
I'm going.
Interesting.
Where are you going?
We're going to McDonald's.
You're going to McDonald's? With who? Who's driving you?
Will.
What the fuck, Will?
Will, wait, Will! Did Will walk past?
Yeah.
Darn it. Will!
Probably not the way you're thinking of, though. There's like 4 Wills in our cohort.
Gosh, which Will is that one?
Fine.
You win. Man, I won at McDonald's too. Checking this panel and this label. Let me see if they're visible or not. Let me see if I can change that and see what happens. Visible. It didn't turn visible. You didn't hear my event being called. What if I turn it on now? Hey, look. It shows up. Yeah, you didn't hear me, man. Okay, I'm still on go to level, do some things. Panel hide, on you win. Panel visible. What if I just go look at that? Does it even make it here anymore? Do I have it set up to be wrong? Am I also going over time because I'm having a lot of fun making this game? I think so. I think it's starting to look a lot more like an actual game, and I'm getting. Oh, it does make it there. Okay, we. Oh, you know what? I may also be setting it to false if you win. I am. I'm hiding the panel immediately. So, okay, okay. In the grid, or somewhere, I have to set, or not somewhere in the UI. Yeah, if you haven't won the game, so another one of these. Global dot is winner. If you're not the winner, then hide the panel and move on with your life. Let's see if he gets mad at me for that. I love using not symbols. Wait, oh, I could probably say is not winner, but I'll check the debugger in a second. I know my bad coding practices will catch up to me yet again one day. Yeah, we win, we win. Yes, I have a breakpoint set. I didn't mean it. Continue. You win. Yes. Okay. Excited. That was exciting. I had a lot of fun doing that, and now I feel more confident about adding additional levels to the game now that I've set it up to be recursive for exactly one additional level. And I'll definitely have to put it on my list of things to do, is to be infinitely recursive so I can have more templated levels. But this works for now. This will get me going for the next 11 levels that I have to put in. So thank you. Let me go ahead and wrap up. I appreciate those who did come by to say some things or just to view what was going on here. I really had a good time, and say I hope to see you guys tomorrow, because I'm over a fourth of the way done making this game. I still have 3/4 left of it to complete, and as you can see, I'm making a lot of progress with the short amount of time that I'm doing this. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow, and have a great night.